Hello, Dr. Coker here, and this is the final part of the story of the main quest in the Elder Scrolls Online. Previously in the main quest, Varen was preparing to take us to Coldharbour to confront Molag Bal. Meanwhile, as the zone stories come to a close, the leader of your alliance asks you to meet with a certain spy at the Mages Guild to get started. This is the quest called Messages Across Tamriel, which is where we are now. You meet with this spy, and he says that Vanus Galarian, the founder of the Mages Guild, wants to speak with you. He has a plan to defeat Molag Bal, and he wants to meet with all three alliance leaders in neutral territory. Then he enters the Mages Guild and you speak with him. He's already collaborating with the Fighters Guild, but he says we can't afford to take sides in the war in Cyrodiil, and we must work together, which you can help organize.
You're in a unique position. You can speak with authority, but you're not an alliance leader. You're respected. You have a reputation. They may let you get a word in before they leap at each other's throats. In short, you're the perfect diplomat.
To begin, he asks you to speak with the three alliance leaders to try to convince them to come to the island of Sturk. He makes portals for you and accompanies you. You speak with each of the alliance leaders. They all say they have heard of you and your exploits. When you invite them to the Isle of Sturk to meet the other leaders, their responses are each a bit different, but ultimately they agree to go. Moments later at the Fighters Guild, Vanus opens a portal to the Isle of Sturk and the two of you enter.
I'll wait for you on the other side.
Good luck.
Welcome to the island of Sturk. Representatives from all three alliances are gathering at the meeting place. It's just up ahead, through the ruins.
Vanus says you're in the best position to speak with the leaders, so the two of you head to the summit. Along the way, you briefly chat with a Fighters Guild member and a Coldharbour scholar. Just as you reach the summit, the three leaders arrive.
High King Emmerich of the Daggerfall Covenant, Queen Irene of the Old Merry Dominion, Yoren Skald King of the Ebonheart Pact.
Immediately, they start bickering, and within moments, all three are back in their tents. You speak with the Fighters Guild representative and ask her if the guild is willing to enter Coldharbour.
Willing and able. But, like the Mages Guild, we are constrained by a non-interference pact. The alliances will only tolerate our presence in their realms if we remain neutral. Unless all three alliance leaders consent to it, our hands are bound.
Vanus says the leaders don't want to send troops into Coldharbour because none of them wish to surrender forces from Cyrodiil. You suggest that the Fighters and Mages Guilds lead the assault instead, but this requires all three leaders to agree. He says this is a good idea and suggests you speak with the leaders individually. You speak to each of them, proposing that the assault on Coldharbour be led by the guilds. Dominion Queen Irene says she needs to confer with her advisors. Covenant High King Emmerich says he'll agree to it if the other two leaders will. Joran the Skald King essentially says the same. You report back to Vanus, and he says, oddly, it feels like a storm is approaching. Suddenly, an image of Molag Bal appears, and he mocks the alliance leaders. Then several Daedra appear from unstable rifts. After defeating the Daedra and closing the rifts, you return to Vanus.
I thought we were safe here, hidden from the enemy. The god of schemes grows more powerful by the day.
On the other hand, it looks like the leaders are now forced to cooperate, so Vanus says he'll open a portal to Coldharbour now. As Vanus shouts his plan to the others, the guilds and all three leaders vocalize their support. Before he creates the portal, Vanus says that it's difficult to predict where you will land when porting to Coldharbour, and everyone may end up scattered.
Hello, what's this? Welcome back to Coldharbour, old chum. Jolly good to see you. I was afraid you'd snuffed it.
I'm just going to summarize what happens here that is significant to the main quest. Coldharbour has a zone story of its own, so I will make a full Coldharbour zone recap video and link it here once it's ready. When you arrive, Cadwell leads you to a place called the Hollow City. It was once a city of people in Nirn devoted to Meridia. Long ago, Molag Bal, an enemy of Meridia's, opened a giant portal and assaulted the city with his minions. At the time, the last king of the Eyelids, Laloriran, known as a brilliant tactician, successfully led the defense of the city. Then Meridia ported the entire city to Coldharbour to prepare to strike back. Today, the city exists as a warded sanctuary in the middle of Coldharbour. In the years since, the people of the city have scattered. When you arrive, you work to rebuild the city and find these people. First, you find the last Eyelid King, still alive and trapped by Molag Bal. You free him and he returns to the Hollow City to lead the Fighters Guild. Next, you free the mage Vanis from Molag Bal's great shackle, and together you stop the plane meld. With legendary leaders to head the two guilds, and assisted by the rebel Dremora Lyrinth, you storm the Dremora defenses and make your way to the Endless Stair. You and a multitude of allies, along with the famous knight Darien, enter the planar vortex and destroy Molag Bal's council in a great battle. Meridia teleports all of you back to the Hollow City, but the last Eyelid King, Lalorian, dies, and Darien is missing. The day is won, but Molag Bal still stands. As you step outside, an image of Varin appears and tells you to come to the harborage to begin the final fight.
Your deeds have been nothing short of legendary. With the plane meld at an end, Tamriel may yet endure. Now the time has come to confront Molag Bal and reclaim your soul.
He says you will harness the power of the Amulet of Kings and lead the 5 companions into battle against Molag Bal. You fight legions of Daedra as you make your way to Heart's Grief. You find Mannimarco alive and bound in torment. He says he's being used as an example of what happens to those who defy the God of Schemes. His only joy is waiting for you to earn the same fate. Moving along, you make your way to the seat of tyranny. The companions assemble and you speak with Abner Tharn. He reminds you that one of the companions will have to be sacrificed in order for the Amulet of Kings to infuse you with divine power, but it cannot be you or him.
The Amulet of Kings is a relic of Akatosh, the dragon god of time. His powers embody the qualities of perseverance and invincibility, while promoting the virtues of duty, service, and obedience. Make of that what you will.
You ask Varin, who has seen the Elder Scrolls, if they had anything to say about this event.
Very little. The scrolls can see many things, even possible futures, but they are not infallible, and they will not make this choice for you. You cannot cross the sea simply by standing and considering the water. Be strong, Vestige, and act.
You speak with Lyris, and she says she has no regrets and is prepared to die if necessary. Sai Sahan says he would consider it a great honor if he were chosen to die this day.
Accept this offering and imbue this vestige with your glory. Let the will of Molag Bal be denied.
You are imbued with the power, and you rush ahead.
What is this foolishness? Has your tiny mortal mind snapped?
Molag Bal sends waves of enemies at you, but they are no match for your new power. At one point, you command the rocks to form a bridge to cross a chasm.
Of oblivion, you are less than nothing.
Using the amulet, you disintegrate all but a fraction of the Daedric Prince's power, then fight what remains on the ground. As he approaches death, a divine blade appears in your hands. Then Meridia pulls you into her realm and leads you forward to reclaim your soul.
You have bested me and released 1,000 times 1,000 souls back into the Mundus.
Molog's image says you have halted the plane meld for now, but he will return one day and you have now made a great and terrible enemy. Meridia appears and banishes him from her domain.
Your soul is restored. I can see its light within you. And you have saved your world from a great calamity. But know this, mortal. The forces of Oblivion are legion, and the God of Schemes is but a single player in a complex battle for supremacy.
But she says he is wounded and will not be a threat for some time. Meanwhile, she says Abner Tharn took the Amulet of Kings and fled to Cyrodiil, but he doesn't realize that the amulet will contain no power for at least a generation. The Three Banners War still rages in Cyrodiil, but she suggests you fight beside the other alliances for a time to help prepare for the coming conflicts from the real enemies who are not mortal. You are teleported back to the harborage, and you reflect on everything with the remaining companions and Cadwell. The remaining companions discuss returning to their former lives. Some believe Tharn will try to unite all the territories of Tamriel under a single banner. You speak to Cadwell a moment later. He says he spoke with Meridia about having you get your soul back. He also tells you that through Meridia's gift, you have the power to live through the other alliance's eyes, to live in their cities and experience their struggles. This brings us to the end of the main story, as Cadwell's quest simply allows you to play through the other alliance's zone stories. I hope you've enjoyed this recap of the main quest. Next on this channel, I'll be working on stories for the DLC and chapter zones. Thanks for watching.